It is currently 12:37 on May 4th. It's a Saturday, and boy, I am just having so much trouble trying to figure out how to get this episode started. And the problem is I've actually already started it one time. I've already recorded a decent number of clips for this episode, but I don't know, there's just something going on right now, and I just can't seem to find I don't know what to say, like motivation. It's not really motivation, it's just like, the desire to just get this going. So we're just gonna go, and I'm gonna talk, and we'll make it through this episode. And like I said, I've already recorded a decent number of clips for this, so there might be a little bit of, I don't know, whiplash or something as we go from clip to clip, because they might not be totally in perfect chronological order, but you know what, we're just gonna deal with it today. So let's get going. Finally finished the entrance. Well, not completely finished, but I did a lot. Oh, by the way, I tied up these frogs. Most of them escaped, but I kept one of each, and they're all attached to this little fence here. I'd like to let them roam free, but when I don't, they do, well, this. But that's not really important right now. I mean, look at this. I finally got something. I mean, it's very plain, but, baby steps. That's the name of the game around here. And you can even, I went and copied the design on the inside and did a simple little design on the inside, which I think looks fine. I mean, most people aren't going to be looking up here anyway. And we got torches that are off-center in a rather pleasing way, I think. Let me know if they're not pleasing. And I added a little bit of dirt down here just to make a sort of path along here. I don't think I did that good of a job. I'll need to go back and fix it a little bit somehow at some point. Maybe a little more in the middle and a little less on the sides. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a little more on the sides. I'll think about it later. It's not really important. What I need to do first is I need to clean. I really need to get a storage system so bad. It's starting to get really bad. I've got all this stuff over here. I've got chests going around the side. I've got stuff over here and back there. It's all sorted. Got all my woods, just all sorts of random assorted things that are admittedly fairly well sorted, but it's getting to be too small, and I gotta do something about it. Kind of feels like I'm just putting off building my storage building, but alright, that's a lot better. Still plenty of problems with the actual size of the storage system, but at least we're a little bit cleaner in here. And now we're gonna run down into our crypt where we haven't been for quite a long time. We actually have to use the side entrance because the main entrance is currently flooded, but I want to come down here and I need to get another villager. So we'll swim down through here, come back over to our entrance, and oh boy, we've got a party down here again. I haven't been down here in at least like 6 or 7 episodes, I'd guess. So I'll just really quickly grab up one of these guys. And make a cartographer, which means that I can get a bunch of empty maps, which will be really nice. And now that we've got our maps, I just kind of want to make a little map of our area, because we're starting to get a little ways into the series, and I'm going to be making some pretty big expansions here, probably in the next month or so. So I'd just like to get some maps down just so we can have something to remember what we used to look like. So let's just pop down a couple of these, and there's our first map. I think that looks pretty cool. You can see our tree, the library's right there. This is so cool. Let's throw these down. I guess we can put this right here, I guess. All right, I'm gonna go and grab just a couple more, and we'll come back and see what we can make. All right, now if I can just remember how to order these. And we're just missing 3 of them, so I'll real fast go and fill those up. And there we go. That's a pretty solid map, and I think it's a pretty decent covering of what we're eventually going to be using. I think maybe, actually, why don't I do one more line down here? Well, that was a little bit embarrassing. It's actually been several days since that happened, but after that happened, I sort of started doing other stuff and got a little busy, and well, now here we are. It's Monday, and I've got to release the video here pretty soon, but just to let you know what happened. So if we come down here, you'll notice that I keep my area pretty well lit up. I've got all this glow lichen at just the perfect radius. You know, I even use this mod to go around and check, you know, exactly what light level everything is at. Oh, by the way, I'll talk about these in a second. But yeah, so I just AFK here, don't do anything, just leave my keyboard standing in the middle of nowhere pretty frequently, to be honest. But you'll notice that there are no torches up here. So basically my wife came and said, hey, let's go out and eat, and we went out to eat, and we came home and I was dead. So yeah, that happened, but you can see I went overboard on the map. I don't know, it was really fun just getting this real big picture of what this surrounding area looks like. And yeah, I ended up doing, I think, 2 more rows down the bottom. But yeah, I don't know, I kind of want to make it bigger, but I think that'll have to wait for another time. Eventually, I've been thinking about this just a little bit, but I think maybe this temple up here, I can put this map down at the bottom. It'll just be like kind of the first level of the temple kind of feature thing, and we can update this map and do all sorts of stuff with it, but I think it's pretty cool. Now these rocks down here as well, I really like how they turned out, and this is maybe a little bit embarrassing how I came up with the idea, but I had a dream. It's been several days now. I had a dream that someone left a comment in my video saying that I should make these little rocks here out of the same, you know, mossy cobblestone, and mossy stone is the floor. And I woke up and that was just the first thing I thought. So I don't know what it says about me that my first viewer recommendation sort of thing came from myself, but I guess that's where we are. Now, I really feel bad that I didn't get a little bit more done in this video, but, well, life happens, and that's just how it is sometimes. But I want to do one more thing to end off this episode, and I'm going to be showing you something that I've been fiddling with in my head for quite a while, and I'm not completely sure if it's going to look quite as good as I want it to in my head. But we're going to give it a try and see how it looks. And yeah, if it looks good, then I'll be implementing it in quite a few other places. But yeah, let's look and see if I can make it work. And instead of making a time lapse this time, I think I'm just going to sort of walk you through my build process. So for this kind of thing, one of the first things I like to do is I like to make my canvas, because you can kind of look at this as just we're painting the rock in a way. And the background of all of this that I've done that you might have noticed in the time-lapse videos is going to be this cobbled deep slate. So I'm going to real fast just go through and I'll destroy these and just replace it with cobbled deep slate. And now that we've got our canvas, I'll just work up the shape just a little bit. I'll make this just a little bit more narrow on the inside and maybe even add just a little bit more here. And I want to remove all of this flatness down here at the bottom because things in nature are very rarely so perfectly straight. Just something simple like this. And now I'm going to go through and I'm just going to kind of get a general idea of what colors are going to go where. And the inspiration that I had for this is actually, there's a lot of bushes and vines around here that have almost reddish leaves, especially around this time of year, and it just looks so cool. So I want to kind of make something like that to give a little splash of color here, and I might even add a little bit over here on this side or maybe even over here later on, but this is just going to be a sort of proof of concept, I guess. So we'll see if it looks good. Alright, so right now it might be a little bit too contrasting and colorful for you to get a really good idea of what I'm going for. But if you come up here, I think you can already kind of see what it's going to look like in the end. I mean, it's still very plain, but we've just got this red that's going to stick out really, really well, especially amongst the vines and stuff over here. And then the green, it's just going to kind of blend in and add a little bit more of a complement to this red. And then in between it, I've got to find a way to blend these two together so that it looks really natural. And I'm thinking about going for something like this mangrove wood right here. Because if you look at this mangrove wood, I want to kind of make it so that it goes both ways, but it's got sort of this little red green sort of feeling to it. I mean, I know it's brown, but it kind of looks a little bit green over here if you look with the green, and it looks a little bit red if you look at it with the red. So I think it does a pretty good job of bridging the gap there. And then on the side of the green that's not facing the red, I want to use this acacia wood, kind of like I used over here, because I feel like this does a good job of transitioning into like the tough and then into the slightly darker deep slate and then into the cobbled. And then even within these terracotta colors themselves, I'm thinking a little bit of contrast would make it look a little bit better. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this green wool here in the middle. And it just kind of breaks up this monotonous green that we have there. And I'll do something kind of similar with the red, but I want to be a little bit more specific with how I go about it, because this red is going to be the focal point that draws your eye when you're looking up here. Something kind of like this, although at this point I'm starting to feel like maybe this red terracotta is just a little bit too desaturated, so I think I might almost just completely get rid of it, because it doesn't do a good job of bridging the gap between the wart block and the netherrack down at the bottom. So yeah, I'm gonna either severely decrease the amount that I'm using or maybe just get rid of it entirely. Alright, so that's a lot better insofar as not contrasting as much anymore. However, I do think it could stand to be just a little bit brighter. And one thing I can do that I think will help with that, and will also help a little bit with these, because I like it being down this low, but I don't quite like it so much blocking or making it a hazard to travel underneath, because you know, if we have blocks here, then and if I jump, then it's not really going to work out that well. But I can put this wheat bean vines, and I can add some of this down here, sort of like this. Need to come back to my nether tree farm to get a few more. I think they are, yeah, there's some in here. So I'll just place a few more of these, and I want to make sure I clip some of these so that they don't grow excessively long. Looking quite a bit better. That helps to brighten it up a little bit. But now I think I need a little bit more of a transition there. And by transition, I think I can really simply just add some vines that are a little bit higher up. I know I can't place them on an area that doesn't have an overhang, but I can always just make an overhang. And yeah, that helps it a lot. Now those greener areas, the sort of mossy areas here and there, and even the ones that I have over here and there, I'm going to be going through, and I think I'm going to do like maybe some vines and stuff that I have up here. I might put some of those over here, but I want to wait just a little bit for that, so I'm not going to be doing it today. I also want to, also want to add like some flowers and some other little spots of color in here. So that'll all come later. This is, you know, going to be a work in progress for quite a while. And I'm not going to get to the floor again today, but I think I'll probably not extend this cobblestone and stuff out too much, but it'll be more of like a green, mossy, I don't know, something or other as we go out there. And then there'll just be this cobblestone that'll make like a small path. But yeah, it's not a lot, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into how I kind of go about creating stuff here. This will look even better once I get stuff on the top and it's not just all this flat, just normal grass and stuff, because I think eventually this will be like an extension of that path up here that will go over here. And then, well, I was gonna do this more in this episode, but since I ran out of time, it's gonna have to get pushed on to next one, or maybe even the episode after that. But we are eventually going to be moving over onto this island over here, or sort of land mass over here. This is going to be, as far as I'm thinking right now, this will be where like the main city is, because this area over here, we've got our library, which is maybe it'll just be like on the outskirts or something like that. And then as you come over here, it goes into like farmland, and I'm eventually gonna have pastures and all sorts of different fields out here. I think in next episode, a bit of a spoiler, I think I'm probably gonna do a pasture for some sniffers. I think that'll be really cool. But yeah, I'm still not entirely sure what I'm gonna do over here in this corner. I think this is gonna be something that I've got to get figured out in the somewhat near future. But yeah, I've got a lot of really cool plans for this world. So I hope you stick around and see them all come to fruition. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Sorry this episode was a little bit not as content filled as I would have liked it to be, but that's just how it is. And I think next episode is going to be a lot better as far as that goes. Maybe I'll find a better way to keep these frogs here and let them jump around just a little bit more. I wish I had slightly longer leashes or leads, but that's about where I'm gonna have to leave it off for this episode. I've got just a little bit of time. I've got to finish editing this and then get it uploaded. So yeah, I will see you next week. Bye.